Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to today's Creative Corner workshop. We are going to be working on mandala drawings. But before we get started on today's workshop, let's go over some of the materials you'll need. Alright everyone, so some basic supplies you'll need is a ruler, a pencil, eraser, and a compass if you have one. I already started before this workshop on a couple of different designs, and then we'll go over some of the design elements here in a bit. But before we go ahead and get started with the workshop, I would like to let you know that I do have some supply kits available. All you have to do is just go to our website, ofpl.online. I'll put the link directly in the comments below. But in your supply kit, you will receive some pieces of paper, as well as this sandwich bag that has some graphite pencils, an eraser, and then I also included some mandala drawing stencils just to get you inspired and going. So with that, let's go ahead and get started with the workshop. Alright everyone, with your pencil, you're going to get your piece of paper depending on the size you're working with. I have an 8.5 by 5.5 size paper. So I'm going to go ahead and measure the middle points widthwise as well as height-wise. So that way we get the exact center of the piece of paper. And then once you have your points situated where you decide where the middle is, you want to go ahead and connect those points. When you erase your pencil lines later on, you can choose to go dark with your graphite, but with the pencil, I'm going to try to make my lines as light as possible, so that way when I erase them later, they're not that visible. But once we have our middle determined, you're going to go ahead and grab your compass. The ones that I measured out previously, I started with a 1/4 of an inch and I measured out a 1/4 of an inch until I got to the very end. But you're going to start in the middle and as light as possible draw out your first circle. And I made that too dark, but it's fine. And you're just going to go ahead and repeat this process. Now the design is entirely up to you. You don't necessarily have to measure out a 1/4 of it. Yeah, a 1/4 of an inch, a 1/4 of an inch. You can go 1/2 an inch, you can go 1/8 of an inch. But I myself, working on such a small piece of paper, decided to go ahead and do a 1/4 of an inch. And you're going to go ahead and keep going until you get to the end. Once you reach your edge where you can't go any further, so I stopped roughly a 1/4 of an inch from the edge. And so what I went ahead and did is get a small ruler and connected the 2 points of the outer circle. And this is going to be the measurement we're going to be using in order to split our grid into a geometric shape. So once you have all your circles drawn, you're going to connect the points to make a diagonal line, and you're going to make a square. And for the design itself, you can choose to go and divide it into equal parts, so I can split this up into 8 parts, 9 parts, 12. So if you want to do 8, all you have to do is just measure the halfway point between your diagonal line, and then just cut it diagonally, so you'll have 8 equal parts. Some of my the first 2 designs that I made, I split up into 12 parts as well as 9 parts. For our workshop, I'm going to go ahead and divide this up into 9 parts. Now the distance on my line from one point to one point is 9 centimeters. So I'm going to go ahead and do 3 6. So I have nice equal thirds. And then once you have the your dots established, all you have to do is go ahead and connect the dots. Okay, so I have my design split up roughly into 9 equal parts. Sometimes your parts won't come out as equal as they should, which is a little confusing. But as I mentioned previously, I did these 2 designs before we did our workshop. This design here is split up into 12 equal parts, and then this one is split up into 9 equal parts. So with that, let's go ahead and design our first mandala together. And with this, you can decide to do circles, you can do curved lines. Your design is entirely up to you. As you are working on your design, you want to make sure that you're keeping your lines light as possible. So that way when you erase your lines later on, your lines aren't going to be able to be visible in the final design. But I'm just making a nice flower shape. We made a kind of like a spider web design in the middle, but we're going to go ahead and keep going with this design, and we'll see what the final product looks like. Okay, everyone. We have our design almost finalized. The last step that we need to do is go ahead and outline all of your pencil marks with a pen. I personally am using a Micron number 8 pen. You're more than welcome to use any pen you like. You can use black ink, blue ink, any type of ink you want. But for our workshop, we're going to go ahead and use a black ink pen. And I am, like I said, just going to outline all my pencil marks that I have on my paper. With this Micron pen, I am kind of pressing down a little bit hard, just so that way the ink comes out nice and vivid. Now this process is a lot of trial and error. You have to have a lot of time as well as patience to do this. It's something that doesn't happen overnight, and it just takes practice. What's nice about this is you can make it, gift it to someone, hang it up in your house. It is entirely up to you how you want to use it. But as I mentioned, it's all about patience. You'll want to speed up and try to get this done as fast as possible, but you want to make sure that your lines are nice and bold, spaced apart evenly. If you are interested, for the rest of the week, we do have some pretty great programs virtually being held. Of course, we have our Talking Tuesday tomorrow, as well as our Tech Shorts. We have Tech Time on Wednesday, as well as our February early literacy classes. Wednesdays we'll be focusing on early childhood development, and then on Friday we'll be discussing Black History Month. Thursday, of course, is Crafty Kids, and if you haven't heard already, we do have some supply kits available for that. And last but not least, Friday, we do have Chess League, which will be held online. And if you're interested, all the events information can be found on our Facebook page or on our website. And with that, we're going to stop right here because I don't want to talk your ear off while we watch me draw this out. I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead to the almost finalized product. We are almost finished with our overall design. We're finishing up the last final details. And as I mentioned previously, this does take time and patience. If you can't finish it in one day, you can finish it over a week, a month, just whenever you have the time. When you are outlining your final product, I like to work in sections. So as you can tell, I am drawing 2 lines simultaneously. And I'm focusing on one section at a time. Alright everyone, with that, the final step you can choose to do, if you don't necessarily have to, is to get an eraser and erase all of your pencil marks. And because I started with light marks, it's going to be easy to erase most of the lines. I find it easier if you grip your paper with your hand with 2 fingers, so that way you don't accidentally ruin your paper. And I'm erasing all these pencil marks. And as we are working with graphite, it will get on your hand, which is easy washable. All you have to do is just wash your hand with soap and water. And with that, you can leave it like this, you can leave it black and white. You can also choose to color it, but you want to make sure to get rid of all of your eraser shavings. You want to make sure that your ink on your design is completely dry before you start this process. I don't know if you can tell, but there are some smear marks because I didn't wait for the ink to dry. But like I mentioned previously, you're more than welcome to leave it as a black and white design. You can choose to color it. It is entirely up to you. When you happen to erase it, Depending on what type of pen you are working with, the ink will sometimes rub off, making your design a little bit lighter. You can always go over your design and darken your lines too as well. But with that, this is just a simple designs. You can choose to do different designs. Thank you very much for joining me on today's Creative Corner workshop. Today we did some mandala drawings from start to finish. But before we head out for today, if you are interested in some supply kits, you will get some sheets of paper as well as a lovely kit with some graphite pencils, an eraser, as well as some mandala stencils to help get you inspired to do your own design. But you can find that in our website. You can go to our Facebook page. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to all of our social media platforms, including Facebook and YouTube. We have a plethora of other events happening for the rest of the week, so be sure to keep your eye on that. But with that, thank you very much, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.